Eli Sharabi spent 491 days in Hamas captivity. When the terror group finally released him earlier this year, he learned that his wife and his two daughters were murdered on October 7th. In his new book, Hostage, Sharabi describes how he survived and why he chooses to live free from anger and bitterness. He sat down with CBN's Julie Stahl to tell his story.
Eli Sharabi moved to Kibbutz Be'eri as a teenager and would later meet his wife Lianne there. Founded in 1946, before the State of Israel, Be'eri was one of the harder-hit Gaza border communities on October 7th.
So that was our dream when we raised, family, and they grew up there, and they were very, very happy. But until our heaven became hell on October 7th.
Alarms began around 6:30 a.m., and before long, they understood something unusual was happening.
We got a message from the emergency team of the kibbutz that says that we need to stay in a safe room because they're suspicious of Hamas terrorists infiltrated Be'eri.
At 10:45, 10 terrorists broke into their home. As the terrorists fired, Eli and Lianne covered their girls with their bodies. Shortly after, they kidnapped Eli and took him into Gaza.
So I just shouted to the girls, I'll be back, and I haven't seen, that's the last moment I've seen them. If I only knew, I would say loads of things differently and maybe act differently, I don't know.
More than 130 were murdered from Kibbutz Be'eri, including Eli's wife Lianne and teenage daughters Noya and Yahel. For the first 52 days, Hamas kept Eli in a home with a fellow hostage, a Thai worker from the kibbutz. Then came a ceasefire.
In the first ceasefire, they thought it's a good opportunity to take me to the tunnels because it was a ceasefire.
They took Eli to a mosque and inside opened a trap door.
I refused in the beginning. It looked like the perfect grave for me. No air, darkness, air all around you. But they pointed the gun towards me, to my head, and then I remember the promise I made to my girls that I'll come back. So I chose life again.
After descending more than 150 feet underground, he met other hostages and spent nearly 15 months living in tunnels.
All these times, it's loads of humiliations on a daily basis, loads of psychological terror against us, from time to time violence. You're chained most of the time. The hygienic condition is horrific. Every 6 weeks you have a bath with a half bucket of cold water, almost no soap, no toothpaste, no running water.
Eli studied Arabic, so in captivity he could translate for the other hostages. But you made some important decisions when you were down there about survival. You said in your book you were a little bit older than the other 3 men you were with, and you kind of became like a father figure and an encourager for them.
I need to walk every day about their face because it's very, in all this darkness, to find some light. It's not easy, but it's very important. It's there. You just need to look for the light. So I try to force them every night before we're going to sleep to find something, one thing that good happened to them in the same day. And I knew it's like a muscle that you need to train.
Though not religious, Eli knew some Jewish prayers by heart.
But the second they pushed me into the back of the car, when they kidnapped me, I started to say Shema Israel. I don't know why.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one.
I didn't stop to say that for 491 days since. After that, I met Eli Cohen that knew the prayers of the morning. So it was very good to open the whole day like that.
I know it was a horrible, horrible situation there, but did you feel God at all? Did you feel like he was with you at all?
It was, I think, more than 10 times, which was situations that between life and death in a second. And after you pass all these situations and you stay alive, you You start to believe, you just believe that someone is protect you and want you alive. Because of that, when I'm released, for me it's a second chance, and I'm grateful for that. Well, I'm grateful for loads of things. I'm grateful to be alive, I'm grateful to be free.
On February 8, 2025, Eli was released in a televised ceremony. Weighing less than 100 pounds, he was initially reunited with his mother and sister. That's when he learned the terrorists had murdered his wife and 2 daughters on October 7th and kidnapped and killed his brother Yossi and held his body in captivity.
Still people there after more than 700 days. One of them is my brother. And I'm lucky to have Lianne for 28 years. I'm lucky to have my daughters for 16 and 13 years. I was very lucky to live in the same kibbutz with my brother and have a great life with him. And I'm so lucky that I had my family that fought for me for 500 days.
Eli says it wouldn't be right to let grief overtake him after all the efforts made to free him.
First of all, I love life. For me, I got a second chance. Despite the very, very difficult messages I got on the day of my release about Yossi, about Lianne, Noya, and Yahel, it's tremendous loss for me. But I needed to choose if to let the grief and the loss to bury me, to wrap me, or to find a way to move on.
Shortly after Eli's release, he wrote a book about his experience. His book, called Hostage, is the first from a hostage about what happened. It's a bestseller in Hebrew and now is translated into English and on the way to other languages.
It was a very therapeutic process for me, and I felt this testimony should be heard and should be written for the history of Israel, for my history.
Despite the treatment he received, Eli wants people to take something positive from his book.
The main thing is appreciation for basic things in your life, because when you lose your freedom, you understand freedom, it's priceless.
Eli is using his voice and experience to let world leaders know what really happened.
Places like to be in UN, to make a speech there in Security Council for 20 minutes and give them all the facts that I've seen. It was very, very meaningful for me.
Maybe most important is that he's not dealing with negative emotions.
I'm not bitter. Words like sadness and anger, it's not something I'm dealing with day by day, because I feel that these emotions and feelings can hold me back, and I just want to move forward and to rebuild my life. And I think this is the best way my wife and my daughters and my brother will be proud of me.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Israel.
What an incredible testimony, an incredible story. Just imagine if you were captive and you were held in a dark tunnel, humiliated every single day. What would you hold on to? For Eli, he held on to the Shema. It's the part of the morning and evening prayers throughout Judaism. Hear is the first word of it. Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God, he is one. Then the second verse, blessed be the name of his glorious kingdom forever and ever. When you have that within your heart, you can withstand anything, because you're asking God, let your glorious kingdom invade where I am right now. I've read stories from the Holocaust, the prisoners there in the concentration camp. It's the same story. That prayer carried them through horrific times. As you may be facing time of horror, if you may be facing persecution, in our world today, it's absolutely incredible what is going on. And you just cry out to God, and it's a wonderful cry. The Lord your God, he is one. Blessed be the name of his glorious kingdom forever and ever. Eli Sharabi's book, it's called Hostage. It's available wherever books are sold.